Our guest today is a former walk-on quarterback from Purdue. He is a 5-time All-Pro, 13-time Pro Bowl, and 2-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year, NFL Comeback Player of the Year, the second most passing yards in NFL history, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, and also now officially a Drew Brees.
I mean,
cheers to that, baby. Drew, you're the man, brother. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I guess we got to start with the Hall of Fame. It just happened.
Yeah. It's fresh.
Dan Fouts. That's how you found out.
Roger himself.
I know. So I share a birthday with my oldest son, Dalen. Okay. So he's born on my 30th birthday. So we had a birthday weekend. It's always Martin Luther King weekend. So really the weekend's about him, just doing whatever he wants to do. So then Monday rolls around and my daughter, who's 11, is like the light of my life, just says, Dad, I want to take you out to eat. I'm like, oh,
nice.
Oh, this is the greatest. So my wife, my daughter, they're ready to go. 5:00, be ready. We're going to take you out to eat. So I'm ready. And the boys are messing around doing something upstairs. I'm like, boys, let's go. You know, Rylan wants to take Dad out to eat. Let's go. And they're messing around. So now I'm starting to get a little fired up. I'm like, yo, Rylan said 5:00. We're leaving the house. I'm like about to get in the car and leave them all. Yeah, right. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, here's the knock at the door. And I'm like, who's knocking at the door now? We're trying to leave. You know, my daughter set this up. I just want this to be special for her. And then there's Mr. Supercharger Dan Fouts himself in the gold jacket.
That is incredible.
Welcoming me into the Hall of Fame. So they had me. It was a good setup.
What happens when you feel that? Like, do you like think about your career? Like you think about it's got to be crazy in that moment, right?
Yeah, it was, like I said, like my mind was totally elsewhere. So it was such a shock. And I mean, obviously cameras, you know, and NFL films and everything too. And then all of a sudden it's the rush of emotion. And, just thinking about getting to that moment and just everything that's transpired. And I immediately look at my family. And I mean, honestly, I played so much longer than I ever thought I would. And in many cases, I did it because I wanted my kids to remember what Dad did.
So cool, man.
And then I'm looking at them and, you know, I see their eyes welling up and just, you know, lost it.
That's awesome, brother. Man. So cool.
Beautiful family. Walk on to Hall of Famer, brother. Not many can say that, dog. I only know one that may have a chance.
Will you shut up? So what's the process now? Have you already thought about like what picture you're going to use for your bust? Like, who's going to introduce you?
I know who's going to introduce me,
you know
I can't say because I want to make that special. But it's you start thinking about those. I mean, literally each moment since then has gotten me a little closer to reality. You know, at that time, it's still so surreal, and you just want to pinch yourself, and you're not sure if this is just a dream. Yeah. But I'd say yesterday, before they announced it at Honors, a couple hours before, all our class of Hall of Famers, you know, got into a room. So Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, Roger Craig.
I mean, they're all good. So, Trav, you got to tell us.
Oh, we're sitting there. We got a front row seat to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we're seeing everybody come out. You're the last to come on. He taps me on the arm. I was like, dude, this is a great class. I'm like, yeah, Jason, it's the Hall of Fame. Did you expect to not know anyone they were saying?
But how many first ballot guys? Like, I don't know. It does feel like a special class.
I would say this. I don't know the last time you actually went and looked at each class of Hall of Famers.
It's been a while
since they started doing this.
Yeah, okay.
But literally every class, it's almost like each one is like, whoa, that was a great class. Whoa.
Seriously.
Like that was a great, I mean, every one of them, it just makes you realize just how elite it is. And I think the feeling last night after we were called onto the stage and then all the Hall of Famers start matriculating out of the crowd and coming up on stage. And
absolutely.
It's like this indoctrination, like welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, wow.
Man.
So do you go in, I know you retire as a certain franchise usually. Do you go into the Hall of Fame as a specific one?
Organization?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's Saints, obviously.
No
question.
That was the one thing that was
you already know.
Nothing against Fouts, but that was a little thing that was surprising to me. Is there like a personal connection there? Like why Chargers and not like a former Saint?
So he was one of the first guys that I spoke with when I was drafted, was Dan Fouts.
Cool.
Obviously his legendary status.
Did he tell you to just throw to the biggest guy on the field or what, dude? Because he had Kellen Winslow Sr., dude.
Exactly.
He had like the beginning of like this era of tight end.
Oh man,
sure.
Charlie Joyner and Chandler and they were some dudes. You know, he's been great to me ever since I signed, first signed in the league. And obviously a Charger legend. Ironically, that Coryell offense was one that we ran when I was first in San Diego.
Cool. Yeah.
So there was a connection there too. Awesome. So that was pretty unique.
Give me all the ins and outs, man. That's awesome, dog.
You're going in with a division rival Luke Kuechly. Did he give you as many headaches as he did to me trying to figure? He was calling out our plays. Like, I'm like, what are you stealing this? How are you this good at knowing what we're about to do?
I'll be honest. I think, again, and you never know how the class is going to shake out, but especially Larry Fitzgerald and Luke Kuechly. Like, I've always had a real special bond with Larry.
He's the best, dude.
Funny because, you see each other from afar. I know he was never going to get out of Arizona, and I was certainly never going to leave New Orleans. The only time we had a chance to play together was in Pro Bowls. I mean, how awesome are Pro Bowls? You have a chance to be with these guys that you just have so much respect for.
I still remember you calling out the mic at one of my Pro Bowls. I'm thinking Drew Brees is out here. Yeah,
hey,
man.
Bro, you're wired, man. Hey, Ray, I only know one way. We're trying to win, too, right? Yeah, I know.
He's like, where we slide?
I think Jason, just take it easy, man. I got this, bro.
You got it, Jason.
Let's, Lee, let's go over here.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll get you a double on Aaron Donald over here real quick. No, that was so. Like, my first Pro Bowl touchdown pass was Larry Fitzgerald. Like, we've had a bond our whole career,
sweet,
and really leaned on each other for a lot of things. And then, honestly, Luke Kuechly, best defensive player I've ever played against.
Seriously.
And he was in the division, obviously. And like, so when I truly say, like, an iron sharpens iron, guys that just make you better, like, because you have to be. Like, you knew going into that game, like, I have to be my absolute best against this dude.
Yeah.
And so he just brought out the best in me, in us.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that about him. Such an unbelievable competitor. But, like, off the field, like, the most genuine dude. Like, I've spent more time with him over the last 24 hours.
Cincinnati guy.
I'm like, dude, I love
Ohio
this guy.
ball players, man. There's something about them.
I know, exactly, right? Cincinnati, you know.
I like my Ohio ball players and my Texas gunslinger.
Yeah,
baby.
you know what I'm saying?
Know how it goes.
Texas cattle ranchers. You know?
The biggest surprise with Larry Fitzgerald to me was that he found a pair of corduroy pants that fit him. I mean, he is thick on the bottom half now.
Bro,
Like,
I guarantee you, he can move to the tight end room right now and still go for fucking 1,000 yards.
Solid genetics.
10 touchdowns, exactly.
Solid genetics.
No, Larry's the man. What I still remember, my first college experience was Larry Fitzgerald playing Notre Dame over in Pitt, man.
Yeah, making freakish catches.
Watching him in like just like routes on air or pack and go, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, man, this dude is the fucking man. It was before.
I agree. Same
exactly.
thing. Yeah,
You
it
could
was
just
insane.
tell it was just like, man, this dude's
He's
fucking
different.
got it.
Different.
Man.
but even honestly, the play that I remember the most from his career, which is stupid, that he probably will hate that I say this, the James Harrison interception in the Super Bowl.
effort.
Yes.
Amazing. Like, that is the effort and like what makes somebody different. Like, who is going to give that amount of effort, and not just like a special teams guy has to kind of do that to survive. A Hall of Fame level, like, best receiver of all time.
Actually, when the class was announced, I started just reflecting on all the plays that I could remember all these guys making.
Yeah.
Obviously, that Super Bowl stood out. And we've all had those moments where, look, you're in a game like that, there's a ton of exceptional players on the field.
Yes.
But then there's those times where, like, one just rises above the rest.
Yeah.
And you're just like, for this entire game, that is the best player on the field. That game was a moment like that.
Yeah.
Where you like that play.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one where they took the lead at the end before the Steelers went down.
Yeah.
It's like 2-man and he beats the corner inside on like just a little delay route, splits the safeties and gone. You're like,
yeah,
this dude is the best player on the field.
Seriously.
Right?
Dude, it felt like he had
And he was
one
still
of those
young in his
every
career.
game.
I mean, he was only like year 5 maybe,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
08.
Something like that. Yeah. He was young.
What a guy, man.
So we did have a potential Hall of Famer come out of retirement this year. Was there a call when Bo Nix went down?
You had to.
Dude,
have had
I would say I've had some conversations. and I've had some moments.
Yeah.
I've had some moments.
Yeah.
I would say this, like, my body feels great. My mind sharp as ever.
Yeah.
Shoulder, wrist, not having it. And like, to the point where there was a moment this year where I was drinking a tequila and something happened where I thought there might be a chance I would play that week. And I literally switched to water and I started thinking about going to bed early and getting up the next day and like getting my body nice and loose and going out and throwing to see if I could even pull it off.
Yeah.
And boy, I was like so mentally right and got up, got the body loose, went out there, grabbed the ball, threw a couple. My 13-year-old son was catching for me.
Let's go.
And it was just like, it's not there. I would have been able to like break that glass 10 feet away.
Well, you got to take the Toradol first. You forgot the
I was
Toradol.
going to say, yeah. The good stuff was not in the system.
Yeah, right.
The good stuff was not in the system. But no, it's honestly, look, I'd I really think I'd still be playing if the shoulder and the wrist wouldn't have started to let me down.
Sure.
I started to lose quite a bit of pop, and it's one of those things where you know where to go with the ball, but can I get it from point A to point B in the amount of time that it needs to get there in order to be effective? And unfortunately,
fuck yeah,
that left.
Man, oh man. Dude, you played with some fucking legends in the tight end room. Obviously, Tonio, Jimmy Graham, the years that I was turning into a tight end in college were you and Jimmy just going absolutely nuts, man. And that really changed those years with like Gates, Jimmy being those basketball guys and like really being able to be that mismatch. And then you obviously Gronk you throw into the fold. Do you feel that Jimmy, I don't know, I don't want to say this the wrong way. I feel like he's never gotten the true respect that he deserves at the tight end position. Like, I want to give Jimmy some love because what he's done to change the game, I don't think is talked about enough.
Okay.
I agree.
And
1,000%. Jimmy was so rare. I mean, here was a guy who played 4 years of basketball in Miami, right? Had a 5th year of eligibility, and it was just like, I played a little high school football. I'll go out here and see if I can, run some red zone fades, which I think he caught 11 balls, 7 tutties his fifth year senior year.
What's that?
And at that point, look, I credit Sean, I credit our scouting department. Like, those guys had a knack for seeing like some raw talent. But even seeing through that to like, this guy, once we polish him up and like get him in this system, and he's going to be exceptional. So we brought Jimmy in as a 3rd round pick in 2011. We had Shockey.
Oh, Shockey now. Yeah.
That was Travis' favorite.
Dude, you already know, man. You want to talk about attitude, man.
Yeah. And we were doing some interesting things with Shock that honestly, like we did with Gates in San Diego. But it was kind of like this, at any time, just displace him, split him out to the single receiver side. We had this whole system of signals. We try to do it in man situations, so we got some favorable matchup, and then we just go to town over here, right?
Well, yeah, I can relate.
That became Jimmy's thing. But man, Jimmy was just a gazelle. He was just he was a deer at first. It was like, man, he could run,
but he had
his hips and
coming out.
Well, no, he had an edge. He had something to prove, like chip on his shoulder, big time. But it was a great first year opportunity for him because Shockey was the guy, and then Jimmy was kind of like the bring him in certain situations and just bring him along.
Oh yeah.
And by the time 2011 came around, it was like he was ready, and then that was his breakout year.
We're
literally him and Gronk,
bro.
Like,
you already know
going into that last season, that last game, we were playing Carolina. I can't remember who New England was playing, but they were fighting for, I think it was most yards by a tight end
and touchdowns.
I think
right? They both ended up with over 15 that year. It's crazy.
But literally, like, from drive to drive, it was, I'd come over the sideline and be like, where's Gronk? Like, he's 10 yards ahead. Okay, well, let's run. This high corner to Jimmy, right?
That's a good teammate right there, baby.
Boom. Unfortunately, our game ended first, so Gronk got the record. But literally, it was one of those, like,
I wonder if they were doing the same thing.
Oh, totally. Yeah. They're keeping track
exactly.
of it, right? For sure.
That's the best, man.
Honestly, the most unfortunate thing, and literally when I say, like, Jimmy and I cried on the phone together when we traded him.
Man.
Cried on the phone together. He was with us for 5 years. And could you imagine what 5 more years would have been like?
Right.
At a point where we were just so, like, the chemistry was so strong, right?
You guys created a whole new play. Like, there was like the goal line fade, and then there was the Jimmy Graham just fucking throw it to him. This dude would literally just go and post up like in the paint.
Yeah.
And it was like it was a fade, but it wasn't a fade. It was more just like a jump ball.
We had 5 different back shoulders.
That's crazy.
Right?
It's crazy.
It was the DB's here back shoulder, or I'm just going to stand in front of him and you throw it up. There's the bottom line is if you're 6'7", 270, there is nobody. A dude could be standing right next to you. There's still a place I can throw the ball to you.
Man, my 270 looks way different than that 270.
This does bring up something to me that I do want to. I have never understood why doesn't every team just have one guy that's a monster that is a guaranteed touchdown? Like, think about like the tush push, right? It's a guaranteed first down every time you're first down. There are so many goal line stands throughout a year that happen inside the 5. If you could every time know you got a 6'10", like, just get an NBA guy that wasn't quite good enough in the NBA and just throw him a jump ball. I don't know. Is it harder than that? Am I making this?
Yes, it's way harder than what you're making it. Are you kidding me?
Okay. Well, I don't. That's why I'm asking. I'm asking 2 guys that would know. I don't think it looks that hard.
And maybe have him rush on kick block too, so he can be,
exactly.
He's got a little special teams value.
There you go.
That's all you need.
Just bring Shaq out of retirement and throw him the ball. He's still going to catch it, right?
But to your point, I think there was I think Gates revolutionized the game in a lot of ways. I mean, really before that, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham. right? These kind of basketball guys that came over and applied a lot of that skill set to what they were doing as tight ends. Jimmy was all heart, man, all heart. And I really wish we could have had 5-7 more years together.
Yeah, I know. I had to show him some love, dog.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Trev. So Hall of Fame, but it wasn't always roses, right? It wasn't always the easiest thing. Mentioned earlier, walk on at Purdue. Early in your career, like a lot of turmoil coming from the Chargers to the Saints. What was that like? Like a lot of people, you had the injury and, you know, what's going on with the shoulder, all this stuff. What was that like for you at that moment?
The injury was devastating in San Diego, because I really thought there was a moment where I thought I wouldn't play football again. I mean, I'd been through a lot with the Chargers. I got drafted there in the second round to back up Doug Flutie, which was the best thing that ever could have happened to me, because Doug Flutie was my style of quarterback. We were both undersized, right? He was 5'9.5", a $180, right? But the guy had played 22 years of professional football.
Right.
4 different leagues.
He was Mahomes before Mahomes, from the perspective of like the niftiness,
Magic.
and just making it happen outside.
Yeah.
And we would do a lot of under center stuff because it was kind of a bit more pro style, 2-back, I-back field, running power, running different weak lead schemes, and,
You got LT,
and then the play
you're gonna
action,
utilize
LT,
that.
right, and Lorenzo Neal as our
Yes.
fullback, right?
Dude.
Low.
Yeah, man.
And Doug Flutie at times would backpedal a 7-step drop from under center. When's the last time you saw that? This is like Fran Tarkenton stuff, you know? But like he was just an old school dude.
Yeah.
He did push-ups, sit-ups, ran hills, and played basketball. That was his like strength and conditioning program, and just threw the ball, just played ball. He was like backyard ball.
Hell yeah.
But he was the epitome of, I got to get the ball out a little bit sooner than normal. Just put a little air under it, right? So that little two ball, man,
Just little
right?
air time.
Yeah.
Just lay it over the wheel in front of the safety to that end cut before he's out of the grate. So like his level of timing and anticipation was second to none. So I learned so much just from observation and watching him. Had a chance to compete against him my second year, won the job, and then he backed me up for 3 years after that. Now I was benched 3 times in those 3 years with Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
The first one I deserved it. The second one kinda. The third one I didn't think I deserved it, and I was pissed.
Yeah.
And had a knockdown, drag out, screaming match with Marty Schottenheimer on the sideline in December in Pittsburgh, and then in the hallway after, and then in his office the next day.
no.
Holy cow.
And at the end of the day, like I knew this. Marty was always making decisions that he thought were in the best interest of the team, even if I didn't agree with him.
Yeah.
But I love the man, and he developed me in so many ways, character, leadership. But I love and respect that man so much. But finally kind of got to the point where through those ups and downs and through that adversity, I'd earned the starting spot, made my first Pro Bowl in 2004, kind of team goes to the playoffs. Even though they drafted Phillip Rivers, Flutie was still there. Like I was the guy, and I'd kind of established myself. And then last game of the season in 2005, going into an off season where I didn't have a contract, but I was hoping to get like that long-term commitment.
Yep.
And I go down with a dislocated throwing shoulder, right? Back in, and I'm just going, man, I'm probably never going to put a Charger uniform on again. And it's like, I mean, I play football again. Some doctors told me I had a 25% chance of coming back and playing again.
Man.
So like just absolutely devastating. And yet, I mean, tested me in so many ways, but also I think strengthened just my faith in the unseen and unknown that, God's got a plan for me, and
That's awesome, man.
it may not be in San Diego, and that's okay. I just have to trust it. And that's how New Orleans opportunity came along.
No
Smooth
doubt.
sailing from there. Dude, do you think the QBs in today's game are on a real short leash? Does it feel like that, or do you think it's fair still that you gotta show up when you're called upon?
I think we do most of them a disservice. I mean, look, there's high expectations, right? And
Exactly,
I think it's the coaches are on short leashes. The fan bases, want a winner now.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Sam Darnold and everything that he's overcome. I think
Man.
it's a highly inspirational,
No
story
doubt.
and journey. And there's a few others like that. Baker Mayfield, kind of a similar situation. I think there's so much to play in this position, as you know.
That's why I got out of there, dude.
Former Q.
Exactly.
Always ready for the double pass.
Whenever.
always ready for the double pass. So,
Like you said, I don't know if I can get it there anymore, so I'll just lateral it. I can still pitch at 5 yards. I'm good.
Yeah. I think there's in most cases too, these high draft picks are going to teams that obviously have a lot of holes to fill as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I think who was it? Aikman was saying
Aikman had a
that
very good
a lot
quote
of these
this year.
organizations are failing these QBs more than they're failing
It's
the
true.
organizations.
yeah,
And,
it's true.
I mean, when you play the game long enough, you can pinpoint it. You can see which ones that are maybe getting that disturbance that you're talking about, and others that are just, need to make those strides?
I would say this. I mean, look, I sat for a year behind Flutie. So valuable for me. Mahomes sat for a year behind Alex Smith. I'm sure. So valuable for him. Brady sat for a year behind Bledsoe.
True.
Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years. Jordan Love sat for 3 years behind him. There is something to sitting for a period of time because you will glean a ton. And then when it is your time, a little more of like feeling like you've earned it too, and this is my opportunity. I've been preparing for this opportunity. Here we go. As opposed to if you're going to throw a guy in the fire right away, man, there's going to be ups and downs. You just got to be ready for it, and you got to be patient with it.
No doubt. And I think it's also like when you go into a room with a guy that's been doing it for a long time, so many of these guys, like the coach is one thing, but seeing a player playing the position and how they prepare. Like I do remember this vividly. When we drafted Carson Wentz, they purposely went and got Chase Daniels because he was with you in New Orleans. And like they were is like showing Carson how you prepared.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to get in at 6 a.m. We're going to do this. This is how Drew prepared. And like all of that, like it's so important to have that perspective of it for some of these young Qs as well.
I have two theories around when a quarterback's going to be ready.
Yeah.
Number one is having a great veteran backup or veteran starter who starts in front of you for a period of time before you then have the opportunity, which is kind of what we just talked about.
Right.
The second is I think you need roughly 50 high-level starts before you are really like there and ready.
Yeah.
Those high-level starts could be college.
Okay.
Like plenty of times we've seen this potential drafted, but they only had 15 college starts. Well, if that's the case, it's going to take them 3 years before they're ready. I'm just telling you, right? So then start looking at the guys like Brock Purdy, undersized, all these things, like 50 college starts at Iowa State. So I can tell you, most of the times when they step foot on the field, they were the underdog.
Yeah,
right?
Ball,
he was having to
he was
play,
throwing a lot of balls.
They were having
too.
to punch well above their fighting weight.
Oklahoma, Texas still in the conference, everything.
Right?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
In some
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he comes in and you're like, okay, he's got some experience. Like he's got something to him. Hence why maybe the success happened a little bit quicker. And he's playing for a really good team with some good players, right? There's some other examples of that. But yeah, I think it's the number of starts really has a lot to do with their readiness.
Yeah.
I think to step into that role too.
Okay. I like it.
How about I got Chase Daniels making a hell of a fucking living in the NFL?
Dude,
Huh?
We don't need
Hey,
to. Come on, stop.
All three of us played with him.
I know. I love Chase. Chase lives down the street from me in
Does
San
he?
Diego right now. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I got a bunch of Chase balls. I think the last stat I saw, the most money earned per snap in the NFL than any man in
I've
history.
heard that same stat. I think it's got to be
Chase,
accurate.
well done, bro.
Well done. Hacked it.
Hey.
Hacked the system.
Hey, but to his credit, always fucking ready. Always ready, always prepared. First one in, last one out guy.
Dude, you talk about like chip on the shoulder. I messed with Chase. I'm like, dude.
Him at Mizzou was fucking fun
Yeah.
to watch. Him and J-Mac.
Yeah. I was like, I've never seen a quarterback in the NFL shaped like high school nose guard, bro. But you did it. Bro, you did it. Huh? You made it.
Oh my God.
You're here. You did it.
That's great. That is great.
Chase the best. I love you, Chase.
That's so good.
Back to your career. You go from the Chargers and you end up in New Orleans. First of all, how close were you to ending up at Miami Dolphins?
Miami, yeah, close. I mean, on paper, like that was an obvious decision. It was Miami all the way. Miami had Nick Saban. They had just come off a 9-7 season where they won like the last 7 in a row. So they kind of had it figured out. Defense was lights out. Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor.
Oh, yeah,
Saban
baby.
leading it. Their offense, I loved all their coaching staff. Mike Mularkey was the OC. Jason Garrett, quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Hudson Houp was their O-line coach, who had been our O-line coach the year before when we had won the division. Loved HUD. They were running the same offense that we were running. Like Miami Dolphins. I'm sitting there eating dinner on Wayne Huizenga's yacht. He's there at dinner talking about, hey, we're gonna go play golf in Scotland every summer with Dan. I got a helicopter over there. We're just gonna hop around. No state income tax. I'm like, dude, this is on paper. Miami, here I come.
Yeah.
Right? And then on the flip side, you got New Orleans, right? 6 months post Katrina, some unknown head coach named Sean Payton, right?
Yeah.
Who's this guy, right? And ironically, 5 years previous, when I was being like in the draft, Tom Condon, my agent, I had probably 15 teams that I thought might draft me. And he's like, we're going through that list leading up to draft day. And he's like, man, you got all these great possibilities. He's like, man, honestly, the only one I would really not want you to go to is the New Orleans Saints. Like kind of dysfunctional party town, this and that. Like, so I had that ringing in my head as well, right? So again, on paper, it's like, this is so obvious and I'm not leaving anything to chance. I'm going to go and I'm going to give each one like it's fair opportunity. And like the Miami trip was amazing, with the exception of they put me through the ringer, like 6 hours of this medical testing. Cause I was only 8 weeks post-op on an 8-month rehab. So I was nowhere close. I mean, my arm, I'm still kind of in a sling, and I can't do anything. And they do the saline solution, the contrast MRI. So I'm like in an MRI for 2 hours, just aching, right? I get out of that. They stick these big needles in my shoulder to test nerve endings. They're wanting to test everything. So I got this feeling of like doubt. Like they don't really, and then their doctors were the ones who told Saban, we think he's got a 25% chance of ever coming back and playing again.
Jeez.
Holy cow.
And I go to New Orleans and it's like, you are our guy. Like Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis, you're our guy. We're building this offense around you. They did everything they could to kind of roll out the red carpet despite all the circumstances. I mean, New Orleans was still destroyed.
Yeah.
Right? And the epic story is Sean Payton, after this great visit there, gets lost in the Lakeview neighborhood. And we're driving through there and houses are off of foundations, Chevy truck upside down a living room. All of a sudden car stops. There's a tugboat in the middle of the road. And I'm looking at my wife like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? But it was also one of those moments like, man, this is so much bigger than just football.
Right.
Like we get to be a part of one of them, the resurrection of one of America's greatest cities. Like this is God's calling in our life. And so that was the determining factor.
There's so much beauty down there that got restored through you guys bringing that happiness to them, man. Fucking kudos, brother. That's
amazing.
That's a crazy story, though. You went from literally being like, that's what free agency is like? You get to go on yachts and get told you get to golf all over the world with everyone, to like sit in an MRI room for 2 hours. That's crazy, man.
You end up with Sean Payton.
Yeah.
What are your first impressions of Sean? And what was it like to be coached by him?
Yeah, I would say this. There were moments, and look, this stayed true for 15 years, where I thought Bill Parcells was standing in front of us.
Really?
Well, he was I would say, look, his biggest influence is John Gruden, Bill Parcells. Like when he would get up and start installing offensive football, we're gonna run through here. It was like John Gruden, right? But then when he would get pissed off and like go try to go toe to toe with somebody or challenge somebody or get confrontational, dude, it was Parcells, man.
Yeah.
It was all Parcells. Yeah. Like in fact, there were those moments where I could tell he would get up in the team meeting. I could just watch him walk in. I'd be like, shit, he's going to be one of these. I could feel it, and we were going to get it, but it was good. I mean, it was wisdom.
You see him and Bo Nix's relationship and see a little bit of the beginning
there's
stages.
some fire.
Yeah.
There's some fire.
Bo throws it back at him too.
Dude, absolutely. And I think Sean appreciates that.
That's what I was going to say the same thing. We had Howard Mudd early in my career in Philly.
Oh yeah.
And I felt like he used to sometimes just yell at you to see what your response would be. And I think that sometimes it's like more even mental, like they want that like fire out of a guy. And like, if you're willing to answer that, you're willing to stick up for yourself. Like, no, coach, I think that this is what you told me. And you know what I mean? That goes a little bit with those guys.
What I appreciated so much about Sean was, he had an ability to order the chaos, like to block out all the noise and just give you a very key and a very defined like keys to victory.
Yeah.
And narrow it down to the point where, hey, man, this is our vision. Like this is the path to get there. And now let's go execute. He instilled confidence in guys. He had a way to motivate guys through kind of humor. His coaches just have a knack. Like, I give an example. It was like we had a safety one time who was getting all kinds of interceptions. But he wanted to bust his balls in practice just to kind of keep him honest. So he's like, hey, DB's like, he's going to intercept it, but we got to block everybody because he's slow. He's slow as molasses. They're going to hawk him before he gets to the end zone. So we got to block everybody in order for him to get in.
That's
he would
great.
just make comments like that, just in case you started, getting a little bit pretty good about yourself,
Yeah,
like he just keep you honest, hold you accountable, So he had an knack for that. And then I would say just like his open and honesty to you. He was always open door policy. Come see me anytime you want. If you want to talk about anything, you may not like what I have to tell you, but I'm always going to be honest with you.
Come on now. Listen,
so guys come up there. I'm not happy about my playing time or this and that. He's like, okay, well, let me tell you why. But now let me tell you how we can rectify that or how we can fix it, how we can get better than that. And he would give you that path and that vision. And he was amazing at that.
That's awesome.
Those are the kind of guys you want to play for, man.
I got to ask this too. Like, very opinionated guy, offensive genius, Sean Payton.
Yeah. Hall
of Famer, one of the most brilliant minds in the game.
Yeah.
What was it like game planning with you guys? Like, there's like, are you getting plays? Like, how does that go?
Was it full trust or were you throwing in your your input on the Mondays and Tuesdays, getting up to the Wednesdays?
I'd say, I mean, it was very collaborative.
Nice, man.
It's funny. I went back and looked at a 2006 call sheet, which was our first year. And this in 2020, I was like, hey, pull up an 06 call sheet. And bro, it was like third grade compared to where we had evolved to in 2020. Man. And a lot of that, though, was because we had been together so long that it's not like you really eliminate. You just kind of like add little layers to
little wrinkles to everything.
It's just little wrinkles. His ability just to walk in and be like, hey, you remember in 2010, we're playing the Eagles and we're down there in the red zone. And it's like, oh yeah, coach, like it's amazing the recall you have. Seriously. Like I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I can recall a game 15 years ago, right, in the red zone.
I can recall more of the times that it didn't happen though.
Yeah,
so if somebody says, oh, it happened, because those are the ones I sit there and I think about for the next 3 days on how to defeat it if I get it again.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that just get like implemented in my brain.
Dude, it's trauma. I've thought about this a lot. It's literally like you have these traumatic experiences on game day because it's either something that was like a disappointment that then just lingered and you just like hyper analyzed for the next week.
Dude.
Right. Or it was kind of like one of those like a bit of fear, and it was like some chemical reaction in your brain that just like seared it.
I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about this. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, for sure. But trauma. I like that.
No, staring at the ceiling. Why didn't I go left? Why did I just outside release this?
Right.
That's all I had to do.
No, but you're right there. I wonder what it would be like as a young quarterback coming into a system though that was literally like a 15 years worth of, PhD work to get it to that point.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's like kind of having to go back to, square one.
Right.
Because we did evolve so much and there was such a level of trust. Like it got to the point where I knew what he was going to call, when, how, why, right? That whole play caller's intent. I mean, we were just so much on the same page.
That's awesome.
And then the communications on the sideline were awesome. Like fourth down, you got to play. You like, hell yeah, coach, I got one. All right, let's go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's the best kind of moments, man.
Right.
We got to ask you this. We've been asking this one a little bit. Fill in the blank. People forget that blank was a problem. Kind of like somebody that, like, we already kind of did a little bit with Jimmy, but he's not really that forgotten, I guess.
Yeah.
Listen.
I'm going to get a plug for my guy, Jari Evans.
Jari Evans.
You got to teach us a little something. Who's
guard?
Or right guard.
You don't know who Jari?
Yell at me,
Top
dude.
15,
I always thought it was Jari Evans, so I'm sorry, Jari, but yes.
Future Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Yeah, he was in the top 15 this year. He was top 15 last year.
Yes.
Like he
Philadelphia native.
Philly native, exactly. 5-time All-Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think for a long period of time, best guard in football.
Well, it was him and Carl Nicks, both of those guys.
Absolutely. Having those two dudes.
Unbelievable.
You want to hear a good Carl Nicks story?
Please.
All right. So we draft Carl Nicks out of Nebraska, like 5th round, which was just a steal, just like because he was one of the most giant human beings you've ever seen, right? Like 6'4", 360 or something. So we have a bunch of injuries. All of a sudden, he's starting at left guard. This is 08, his rookie year, like week 2 or 3. So like, dude, he's fish out of water. And we're short now at O-line too, because the guy had gotten hurt. So we're hot practice outside New Orleans, and he's taking every rep, first team, second team. So he's like 35 consecutive plays in, and he's just dragging, sucking air, like it's thick outside. And O-line coach Doug Marrone is just on him. And like I'm stepping up into the huddle again to call a play, and Carl is just kind of bent over, just sucking air. And Marrone, just to kind of make a point, he goes into the huddle to grab Nicks to like, stand him up. And I don't know what came over me, but like I just have a rule that when I step in the huddle, it's my huddle.
Mm-hmm.
I want all eyes on me. I'm leading this.
Yeah.
And so when Marrone stepped into the huddle, I didn't even think about it. I just reacted. I grabbed Doug Marrone and I threw him out of the huddle.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, I got him.
Yeah.
And I looked at Nicks and I was going to kind of help him up and be like, come on, big fella, let's go, 10 more plays, whatever.
Yeah.
And Nicks just kind of stood up, like bowed his chest down. He looked at me. He's like, man, nobody's ever going to touch you. Like, you got my back, boy. I got
that
you
is
for life.
Awesome. Holy cow, that's great.
And then 4 years later, highest paid guard in football.
That's right.
Fuck yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't with us. It went to the Bucks, but
both of those guys together were awesome.
They were a problem.
That's badass. We always end it with one question. We got to take it back to the early days, dog. What was your welcome to the NFL moment?
Oh, dude, I'll tell you, the hardest I've ever been hit was Zach Thomas, 2003 in Miami. Again, one of these like trauma moments.
Uh-huh.
So we run like this little fake counter weak play action play. The line is slamming it down. Here comes the guard to kick out the end. Back just kind of chipping off the edge out in the flat. And then you have some exotic down the field route concept. And so here's Zach Thomas. He reads this guard pull. So he just kind of comes over here, and I come off this play action fake, and my eyes are, trying to look down the field, but I see it was like the parting of the Red Sea. And then it's me and Zach Thomas, but he's like 15 yards away.
Full running.
And it's zone. Zach, you're supposed to be like deep middle or like hook over here.
Right.
But it's one of those like, oh, nobody's accounting for me.
I see it.
And he just starts hauling ass. And it's one of those like, oh no. I got time. He's got to take like 15 steps to get to me, right? He closed that gap so fast. And I had to cut this ball loose so much earlier than I wanted to. And I just felt like this is going to be bad. And I threw it and just kind of tried to like spin, turn. He hit me so hard. Like, I think I did like a double back flip gainer, landed on my head. Now they did throw the flag because he did. He hit me square in the side of the head.
Yeah.
Threw the flag. I underthrow the ball by like 15 yards. It gets picked. Sam Madison or Pastor Tan or one of those guys. But they throw the flag, so we get the play. But I was just like, oh my God, like, is that how hard these dudes hit?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah. I do want to ask you, Darren Sproles.
Oh,
we didn't talk about him at all.
Know, yeah.
What was Sproles? I mean, one of my all-time favorite teammates.
All-time favorites. Yeah. So first thing I'd say is like, leadership comes in all shapes and sizes.
All right now.
Hey.
And that dude did not have to say a word.
Right.
Like, you just watch the way he works and watch the way he approached his craft. Yeah. Like, every rep was a Super Bowl rep, a full speed rep. Like, I love that dude so much. He was my workout partner in San Diego forever, like just in the off seasons. And actually the story goes 2011 is the lockout year. I start to get the feeling as we're working out that off season that Reggie's going to get traded. Right. And we're all on our own. Like, we're not back at the facility. So there's a lot of just craziness. And right before the season starts, we trade Reggie to the Miami Dolphins. And in the meantime, like, I'm calling Sean Payton and I'm like, we have to get Sproles. Like, I'm sitting here throwing with him every day. Yeah. And he was having a little riff with the Chargers. Yeah. And I was like, if we're trading Reggie, we have to get this guy. So sure enough, that happens. We have him for 3 years. Like, we were together. He was drafted to the San Diego Chargers in 2005 when I was there.
Okay.
So our running back room was LaDainian Tomlinson, Mike the Burner Turner. You remember Mike Turner?
Hell yeah, remember
Big Mike T. And then Darren Sproles. And Darren Sproles was our little scat back. But he's a generational player.
Hell yeah.
I think if you're going to watch a choice route reel, like, how do you just arc release out of the backfield, set a linebacker up with a vertical stem, and then break out, crossface, hook it up?
It used to drive me crazy. Anytime we would get, and this is before they started doing like the 5-man fronts where they're running zone. Every other time they bit a bear front, it was man covers. I'm like, why the hell are we not just throwing it to Darren Sproles I'm dead serious. It used to make me mad.
No, totally.
Like, nobody's going to guard this dude in space. Yeah. Just throw him the ball. Who's going to tackle him? Like, I was furious.
Here's my other Spolsy story. We're on a 2-minute drive, 2013 against the Niners. That Niners defense was stout, right? Yeah. So here you are, Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis,
yes.
Okay?
Studs.
We're kind of approaching midfield. All we need is a field goal. So they start trying to light us up, right? And I remember at one occasion, I know it's going to be man, and here these two guys are lined up in the A-gaps, and they're going to hit it. And I know I got Jimmy Graham matched up on the matchup I want, but I also know we're going to have to hold up for a second. So I remember just like looking over at Sproles, I just be like, it's going to be like, Navarro Bowman. I'm like, hey, bro, just bow up just one time on me.
Please.
And Sproles, he gets in there.
He was an underrated blocker, man. I know. Seriously.
Like, this low center of gravity. Yeah. He was freaking all heart, man. He was all heart, all effort. I love the dude. Like, he would step up and do that whenever you needed. He was a stud. One of my all-time favorites, man.
That's awesome.
Drew, you're the man. Thank you so much,
stories,
bro.
Yeah, bro.
Congratulations,
man. The legend, dog.
What started as a simple Valentine celebration quickly turned into a global headline. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift didn't just mark February 14th quietly. They sparked a wave of speculation, excitement, and intense fan theories that sent social media into overdrive. Here's what made this Valentine's different. Just one day before, Taylor surprised fans by releasing 2 extended versions of her Opalite music video from her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl. The added footage wasn't just extra scenes. It included playful camcorder clips, spontaneous dance rehearsals, and behind-the-scenes moments that felt unusually personal. The timing immediately caught fans' attention. Why release something so intimate right before Valentine's Day? Because this wasn't just about music. This marked Taylor and Travis' first Valentine's Day as an engaged couple. After announcing their engagement in August 2025, the pair have kept wedding details locked down tighter than ever. No confirmed venue. No official date. No public countdown. And yet, The buzz keeps growing. Insiders say the couple chose to celebrate privately, surrounded by a very small circle. No flashy public appearance. No stage paparazzi moment. Just intentional time together. And that silence, it only made fans louder. Speculation intensified when the New Heights podcast, hosted by Travis and his brother, suddenly announced a 6-week break. No detailed explanation. Just a pause. The timing aligned almost perfectly with rumored wedding windows circulating online. Within hours, fans began connecting the dots, suggesting that this break could allow Travis to focus on finalizing wedding preparations. Then there's Rhode Island. Several outlets have hinted at a possible June 2026 ceremony in the coastal state. While nothing has been confirmed, the idea of a seaside wedding fits the couple's increasingly private approach. Sources previously suggested the celebration would be intimate rather than a massive spectacle, despite both being global icons. Meanwhile, Taylor continued fueling excitement in a different way, creatively. Her Opalite music video features an unexpected lineup of major names, including Domhnall Gleeson, Cillian Murphy, Greta Lee, Jodie Turner-Smith, Lewis Capaldi, and Graham Norton. The concept, surreal relationships involving a cactus and a rock before finding true love, had fans dissecting every metaphor. Many believe the storyline mirrors her own journey toward finding lasting love. And Valentine's Day made that symbolism impossible to ignore. In the extended clips, Taylor openly laughed about the chaotic energy of the shoot, calling it one of the most hysterical experiences she's had on set. But beneath the humor, fans noticed something else. A calm confidence. A woman not just celebrating a music era, but stepping into a new chapter of her life. At the same time, she's making serious business moves. In a newly escalated trademark dispute, Taylor filed opposition documents to prevent a home goods company from registering Swift Home, arguing that the branding could confuse fans and falsely suggest affiliation. It's a reminder that while her love story dominates headlines, her empire remains protected with precision. So why did this Valentine celebration cause such a frenzy? Because every move feels strategic, yet deeply personal. A romantic holiday, new extended footage, a podcast hiatus, ongoing wedding rumors, and a fiercely protected brand. Together, it paints a picture of two of the world's most talked about figures quietly preparing for something major. No official announcement. No confirmed wedding invitation. No public countdown. But if Valentine's Day proved anything, it's this: Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift don't need to say a word to set the world on fire. And right now, the world is watching every single move.